The chain is the cheapest part of your mountain bike drivetrain, but neglect or riding it beyond its useful lifespan is going to prematurely wear out your chain ring, your derailleur, and even your cassette. Today, I'm going to go over how to check your chain, how to size and install a new one, and how to maintain it so it runs like new for a lot longer. Over time, the pins and the rollers and the chain start to wear out, and the chain gets sloppy and it appears to almost stretch. And you can check this by pulling on the chain to see if it has any slop on the cassette. But the best way to check this is with the chain wear tool. So this tool measures the distance between the links. And if it's grown, it's got a 0.75% and a 1% reading. So I'm going to try the 0.75. So you just drop the gauge between the links onto one of the rollers and then drop the tool into the chain. If the tool can go in between the links, then it has stretched 0.75%. And even though this chain is actually shifting well and doesn't appear to have any wear, it's going to start wearing out the other components, so it's time to go. So first off, you want to make sure you get the right chain. So that bike has got an 11-speed cassette, so I have an 11-speed chain, and it's SRAM, and it comes with a power lock link included. So all I need to do is lay the original chain out on the bench, and all your new chains are going to come extra long. So you just lay this out, find out what the length is, and cut it to the same length, and it should be good to go. So just line up the pins as you work your way down, and remember your old chain's probably stretched a little bit, so you have to adjust it a little bit as you work your way down. And then you'll locate the pin that you need to remove right here. And I'm going to mark it with a Sharpie just so I don't mess it up. This is a tool actually I keep in my pack. It's the Pork Tool CT5 chain breaker. So here's the link that I marked that I need to remove. So all I need to do is lay that pin into the tool right there. And then I start to dial this in and make sure that this pin is lined up with the pin on the chain. And just start to press it through. Be a little bit of a resistance at first. And then once it breaks through, just keep pushing until the pin is all the way out. Then when you back it out, the chain is the proper length, and there's your old pin that you do not reuse. So just throw this away. And just install one power lock on each end. Bring them together. And then carefully bring that power lock up to the top, being careful as it's coming through. Now it's right here. Let's grab the brake and then push down, and then the link will lock out. And just to compare, let's look at the chain gauge that we checked, the same gauge from before with the old chain, and now this is the new one, and it is not going in at all. This is how it's supposed to look. So what happens if you're building up a brand new bike and you don't have the existing chain to go on to figure out the length? Or, in my case, you had an unfortunate trailside incident that completely destroyed your chain. Well, it's not that bad. I'm going to wrap the chain around the largest cog on the cassette. I'm going to wrap it around the chain ring in the tallest portion because I've got an oval chain ring. We'll see what the shortest distance that chain could be, and then we'll add 2 pins or 1 inch. And if this was a hardtail, I could just do that. But since this is a full suspension bike, I'm going to let the air out of the shock, fully compress the suspension, lock it in place, and then do it. Because as the suspension goes through its full travel, it grows. And what we don't want to do is have the chain bind up during a big compression, which would either damage the chain or probably end up tearing up the derailleur in the process. So let's go ahead and note the pressure in the shock, and we'll go ahead and get that compressed. All right, so that is our reference pin. We add two, 1, 2. That one that I've marked is the one we need to remove. One, 2. So I just got done breaking this chain like the last one. Now this chain has the letters of SRAM and Eagle on one side, and the other it just says SRAM. So on this chain, I'll go ahead and place the SRAM with the Eagle facing out. The other chain, the 11-speed, was the same on both sides, so it doesn't really matter. You also have to check to see if you've got a power link, that when you put this on, the arrow is facing in the direction of the travel of the chain. And that leads us to probably the most important part of this, is keeping the chain lubed. Now, I generally will use a wet lubricant pretty much year round because I do a lot of stream crossings and a lot of riding where it's kind of muddy. So any wet lube that you have is good as long as you actually put it on. And the important thing is to apply it to every single roller, and then once it's on, I end up letting it sit overnight so it completely soaks in between the roller and the pin and between the inner and outer plates. And then before I ride, I will go ahead, I'll leave this t-shirt on the floor to remind me to go ahead and just wipe off every bit of excess that I can find. And when it's done, you should be able to run your finger across it, and you shouldn't have any lube or grease that comes off on your fingers. But it will be in there where it counts to protect the chain from moisture and dirt getting in. I just start at the master link and go all the way around until I see it again. It isn't rocket science, and it's not a very glamorous part on your bike, but if you don't take care of it, it will definitely ruin your ride. If you have any questions about anything I did today, please leave it in the comment section down below. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're like me and refuse to act your age, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching.